and I'm gonna try to synchronize ourselves.
Okay.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you counted wrong. I was like, this is gonna end weird.
3, 2, 1, bingo.
We did it. Yeah, I've got a little curl. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually kind of cool when I tie it up now, and then it's like, actually, hello. I found my diploma recently, just like hidden at the bottom of a box somewhere.
Mine's still in the
and I was like,
tube in a closet in the hallway.
maybe I'll edit this into like a pre-meeting montage. Welcome everybody to the third. I guess it's a podcast, video podcast. I don't know what to call it at this
Something
point.
like that? Yeah.
The third thing involving our faces on camera on YouTube for your entertainment.
Video devlog.
So hi, I'm, Marimo Mohammed. I'm the lead developer of the project.
I'm Drew, Game Mosquito, gameplay director, I guess is my official title. I should know that by now.
Yeah, I guess that's for working at smaller scales, working as an indie developer. There's not really like a hierarchy type of thing here, and if there were with this few people, that would be a problem, right?
Sure, you're not labeled like an engineer 2 or anything like that. It's like...
That would be so wild, right? Can
Right?
you imagine
On
like
like
a three-person team and there's an engineer 2?
Yeah,
What does that
yeah.
mean? Lots of exciting things to talk about, but one of the things we are going to focus on today would be the 9th level of the game. So, little bit of spoilers for those who haven't played the beta at all, because this is the level after the last level of the beta. Before that, we made some changes to the last level of the beta, incidentally, that have not been rolled out because we're saving that for the full release. Mm-hmm. But there have been some major storyline changes that have happened. Yeah, so one of the problems we ran into was the character of Masala Chai.
Right away, the problem that you were describing is, we have characters that talk about, like, Black Rose. We have, Earl Grey gets introduced very, very early on as sort of an NPC. Masala Chai had this problem where there were no interactions. There was no place where she was showing up in the story. There was no area in the narrative where she was present, right? And it was like, okay, well, we're going to get to the last 6 or 7 levels of the game and then go, bam, we're going to hit you with this brand new character and expect you to, interact with them, right?
Yeah, it is an interesting problem when you have so many characters and so few levels, and we say so few, but there are 25 levels, which is actually quite a lot for such a small scoped game. But
sure.
Yeah, one of the issues is that, Earl Grey shows up after the 3rd level. Earl Grey is mentioned even before that. Black Rose is mentioned after the 3rd level, before the 4th level shows up after the 8th level. Mm-hmm. And the way that it kind of went with Masala Chai was that she just wasn't shown at all.
Right.
And then we would expect you to relate to her and like her and empathize with her, and like that just didn't work.
Right. You didn't have enough time to sort of engage with the character and come to understand them.
So one of the original plans we had with the 8th level of the game, which is the second Herbal Tea level, was originally that level was supposed to take place on a boat. It was supposed to be like full naval combat.
Yeah, that was going to be intense. Yeah. We were going to have we had all kinds of ideas about like having like neighboring boats that crossed over and had you'd have units that came across from them
and boats that would like move in, and then like we just had technical difficulties.
It was way beyond the scope of what we could have reasonably done. And
yeah,
like,
part
shipped.
of the issue, it would have been the only level with that crazy amount of like moving pieces to it as well, so it just wasn't worth the development time.
Yeah, and we've made a number of technical decisions like that where it was like, this is a cool idea, are we going to use it more than once, right? But,
and so part of the narrative thought was that the boat would crash at the end of that level, and you would have ended up in Masala Chai's sort of nation, country, whatever you want to call it, and then you would finally meet and interact with her. That didn't happen. So the way that actual level played out was we still had this theme of no resource tiles, and you could sort of elaborate on that. That was true for the boat level. It's true for the actual level in the game. So that the fundamental gameplay didn't really change all that much.
Yeah, the core concepts we were trying to test of the player didn't really tweak that much, and it turned into this really unique like brew off kind of level that I really like, because it's where the like Mega Brewer unit, that's an internal name. I forget what the
Soluble Admiral.
Soluble Admiral. That's what it is. That's
I
where
don't
the
know why I
Admiral
called
shows
it
up.
that, but it's the Admiral.
It's the
Or
Admiral.
as some people say, the trash can because they didn't see it looking like a French press. It's like it's an overflowing French press, but the trash can is a pretty good name for it
spider
too.
trash. It's got the
Spider
little
trash.
legs.
Yeah, little spider legs.
Anyway, yeah. You get into this cool thing where both sides start with the same amount of resources and different amounts of brew actions and different passives attached to those brews. Because there aren't resource tiles on that map, it becomes this like almost puzzly effect of like, okay, how can I optimize? What can I think about to survive effectively, because it is a stalling map.
The way the scenario changed is that it's still true that they steal a boat that belonged to Black Rose at the end of that level, but now we have a little bit of sort of a side moment where they stop by Masala Chai's lands to talk to her about what had happened. And then that is your first interaction with Masala Chai in the game, which then allows us to, which now means she actually shows up before Black Rose, which is kind of interesting to think about. But that allows us to set up different moments later where she's sending you letters. She at one point shows up in Fort Steep before you actually get to play as her. Um, Other characters get to talk about her, and she gets moments to flesh out who she is much earlier, which is good because she needed the screen time basically. We're going to do something a little bit different in this devlog, and I'm going to break from showing us to show you that scene that we added.
That was one of the only major changes we've had to make to the sort of beta side of the game. The sort of backwards sort of release stuff that we had to do to make the full end product be what we wanted it to be.
We want to talk about the ninth level because this is a very different. It's probably one of the most different levels in
Hmm.
the game. This is raiding the manor of a coffee regent.
Yeah, interestingly, this is a case where there is, I think, a strictly unique mechanic, right?
There is a
Uh,
strictly unique mechanic to this level. Um, this is a green tea level. You play as Genmaicha, Dragonwell, Mint,
mhm.
and you are raiding the manor of a coffee regent named Maricino, who we have shown before, but she is on the screen if you have not seen her.
Ta-da! Or where?
This is her home. This is where she lives. You are on the offense now in this war, in this conflict. And she has guards. She has security. She has maids. She has
Yeah,
butlers. And your goal
support
is simply
staff.
to acquire intelligence.
So this is an interesting level. This is a cool one. It has a semi-unique, if not again, I think strictly unique win condition, which is rather than oh, let's capture all the resources or let's take out all of the enemy units or whatever. It's this let's bust in to the manor and gather this intelligence. Um, there are unique tiles on the map that you have to interact with to get into to sort of open the doors to the manor and to get the actual intelligence that you want when you're in there, which are really cool. I think this is the first. It has to be the first point where stealth gets introduced as a mechanic, right?
Stealth is
Um,
introduced as a mechanic with a new unit called the Resource Hunter, which is a coffee unit that
mhm.
is brewed with chocolate. This is also the first level where you get access to chocolate as a resource.
Yes.
Lots of things are happening here.
Yep. Yep. Um,
We really wanted to sort of pull out all the stops for this is your first time if you had beaten the beta coming back to the game, so we wanted to give you like a really
cool
new
experience.
experience with the
Yeah.
game to show you like, hey, we've been busy. So, new resource, chocolate.
The rule of thumb that we sort of settled on for chocolate's sort of resource identity is negation as a concept. Resource hunter sort of achieves that by being difficult or dependent on what units you brought into a level, potentially even impossible to just get rid of. They're non combat units for the most part. They stay hidden. They run around. They have a unique. Well, not unique. We've repurposed it, but they have their own AI behavior to prioritize finding available resource nodes and capturing them. They have this game plan of there's sort of a central garden in the beginning of this level, and their whole goal is, well, while you're trying to go and get the doors open and go and get the intelligence and stuff that you need, they're trying to sort of disrupt your economy by taking these resource tiles back from you in the middle of all of this chaos.
Yeah.
So
So one of the things with them is they have a status effect called stealth. And
yes.
if a unit has stealth, you cannot directly target it for combat. What that means is you could still hit them if you have the correct ability to do, let's say, AE damage after moving into a tile that's adjacent to them. You would be able to hit them. But these guys don't attack. They don't have an attack action. So one, they will never get into a situation where you can fight them, and I believe with the loadout that you can bring into this level, you're not able to do anything about them.
I believe so. At least for our recommended loadout for the level, I believe that's the case.
Once you open the doors to the manor, you sort of trigger all of her guards to appear to defend. This is Maricino's home. This is where she usually lives. She's not in today, conveniently. Why is that? Guess you'll find out. But
Sure.
one of the units that comes out, which we think is really cool, is called the Spirit Channeler. And I love the
Yeah.
way this unit looks. This is a coffee unit that has like all this psychic energy pummeling out of it. It's sort of floating in the sky, and their unique ability is that they will damage units in a radius around them, and for every unit they hit, they regain 1 HP.
Yep. And that hits friends and foes. That's coffee and tea
Friends
alike.
and foes.
Um,
And there's a bunch of these that sort of show up all at once. So in a way, they're kind of like exchanging HP with each other.
yeah,
Um,
there was a build even early on where the idea was that they would just like redistribute and balance all of the HP.
There was an idea where they would take all of the net HP and then average it out between
Yeah,
all of the
and
units, but
spread
that
it.
was so hard to understand what was happening.
Yeah.
So we changed it to they simply will deal 1 damage to things near them and then regain 1 HP for each hit, not for each point of damage incurred. And that's very
Mm.
important because they could hit something with block or something with, armor, but they will
Yep.
still get the 1 HP, even if it doesn't necessarily result in them doing 1 damage.
Right. And it's
Something
very
like that.
difficult to get damage to stick because, again, they heal based off of anything that's nearby. So
This was a very difficult level. This level went through some of the most amount of iteration, I think, of any level that we developed, which I'm
yeah,
sure made you very upset
yeah, it
to
was
work with whenever I came
frustrating.
back and I was like, it just doesn't feel right,
Well,
you
and
know?
there were, we had several cases where, like, okay, the process of going up to hit the switch to open the main manor doors, it felt like you were just losing a princess effectively for the first bit, because the original draft of this level had you go up and loop around this awful little corner, and then the only thing you could do from that point after you'd hit the switch is loop all the way back out, and then you'd have
Yeah.
to go down to like here to get to the main doorway. So you're just going, whoever I committed to this is not useful to me anymore.
So, how did we solve that?
New doors.
New doors.
Yeah.
Just added a
Um,
door that you can now get into the main building from 2 different paths.
Yeah, it's super interesting. A lot of the times when we're looking at level design, we sort of start with a layout, we come in, we hit it, and we can make tweaks to the economy and to like the enemies that are present and stuff like that, and we don't really have to make major sweeping changes to the actual layout of the level. That was absolutely not the case with this because of the concepts that were at play here. We several times had to go, okay, well, let's restructure how these things connect. We need to make new pathways so that the actual flow of the level is being impacted by the inability to move between places in a remotely efficient manner, really.
Yeah, what ends up being really cool with the level is because of that second door, the princess is split up at the start of the level, but then they kind of meet back
Reconvene,
together.
yeah, which is cool.
So the OST is basically almost done, and it's killer. Um,
Yeah,
all of the tracks, we both love all of the work that John has put into
yeah.
the soundtrack.
John kicks butt.
Um, right now, it's looking like it's going to be about 20 unique tracks total in the OST. And so if you backed at the OST tier, you're going to get the Steam keys for that. Um, and if you didn't, they're not expensive. It's not going to be an expensive OST.
Sure.
We don't know what the price is, but I can't imagine it will be too expensive.
Shook my desk.
And, even atop of that, the amount of music in there, the OST doesn't loop. Like, none of the tracks really loop. Once you get to the first loop, it sort of fades out.
Yeah.
Because we wanted it to just be the individual singular loop to
And
make
I
it a
mean,
bit different from the game tracks. And just from that, based on what we already have, we have over 26 minutes of music, unique non-looping music. And the OST is not quite done yet, so that number is going to go up.
yep.
I'm predicting, like, I don't know, it could become 30 minutes. It might be around that. It might be a little bit shorter, a little bit longer.
Yeah. Roughly 30 minutes seems like the obvious
Seems,
number at this point.
yeah. Just a few of the tracks remaining. There's still the credits track, which, we have plans.
Yeah.
That's kind of we're kind of treating that last.
It's interesting to even be talking about the credits right now. We
I
really
know,
don't
right?
want.
There are
Right?
credits in the game.
Yeah.
And all of the Kickstarter backers who wanted to be on it, their names are showing up in this,
Yep.
which makes the credits. If you imagine like the core team of like, oh, there's like six of us, and then it's
yeah.
like, and now there's like hundreds of these.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, right?
It is really cool. I mean, I've been overwhelmed by the support that we got ever since we launched the Kickstarter and it was successful. It was. It's hard to even put that to words. Yeah, we've talked about how we want to make sure that we don't like blow off the credits. Basically, for some players that will be their last interaction with the game, right? This is a goodbye, right? So we definitely want to grip you as opposed to just like, bam, here are the names, scroll, play music, go, be done.
Yeah,
But,
there's some there are some games where I'm not gonna like badmouth anybody, but
yeah, I don't want to
they
either.
do like a looping credits where just because there's so many people that it's actually just a looping track and then the credits take like 17 minutes and you get through that entire experience and you're just like, why did I sit through all of that? We
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I even like you look at older games where the credits end on like a fanfare, right? Where because the credits track is timed to the length of the credits.
And that's what we're aiming for,
it's
which
a cool
I,
effect.
I need to send that video to John now that we mention it.
We need to, yeah.
I need to record the credits and just show him what the timing is.
Sure. But I mean, I guess
st-
I guess the comparison to make is we're treating the credits the same way that we did treat the like intro cutscene, right?
Yes.
So
It's kind of amazing to think that we actually are able to make this game.
yeah,
In the first place.
It's wild. I mean, it's again, it's crazy to think about the fact that we're finally releasing soon.
I am very curious how long it would take somebody to try to beat all of it in one sitting, assuming they don't skip any dialogues, if they do everything optional. Because we've been talking, like, how long is this game? And the
Yeah.
beta actually felt longer than we expected.
Yeah.
And it's only gotten longer, so...
Like, yes. It's...
There's definitely,
much
like,
bigger.
the question of the... Like, we hate the standard personally as devs, but we know that a lot of consumers use it. It's the $1 equals 1 hour of gameplay standard.
Yeah.
I think we met that easily. Like, I'm pretty certain that you're getting more than 15 hours of gameplay out of this. You
there is
might
at
get
least
20, 30? I don't
there
know.
are at least 15 hours of content in this game.
Yes. That's gonna be a scary moment for us when somebody finally messages us to say they've finished the game.
Yeah,
I will be paying attention to Twitter very actively when the game is launched it's launched.
We should make a Steam achievement for that, so that we can see.
Oh
it
yeah,
pop
we need
in
to
the
actually
user
make Steam
analytics,
achievement.
Right? Yeah, that's still stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah, we hope you're excited for this game to come out. Wishlist on Steam, if you can. Tell your family, tell your friends.
Tell everyone.
And yeah, tell everybody.
Scream it on the streets.
Just go to your local cafe. This would be a marketing campaign. Go to your local cafe. Tell your barista. Hashtag tell a barista.
Hashtag tell a barista.
Thank you everybody for watching. That about wraps up our devlog.
Yay.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.